Hey, sports bettors. Happy Monday, March 11th. My name is Boyd. I teach beginner and struggling sports bettors how to use positive expected value and betting tools like OddsJam to make money. This channel is all about education, information, helping you increase your ROI. So in the mornings here, Monday through Friday, try to come up with some content to help you really further your education piece. So sort of a teachings moment, and also some picks and some selections to show you how to use the tools so you can incorporate that concept and that information to your daily heuristics of how you make your picks. So hopefully a very, very valuable video for you to check in on in the mornings. I'm in Denver, Colorado, so we're getting used to the daylight savings time adjustment, but typically these mornings I'll try to pack in as much information as I can, at least to get it out to you early so you have that. And of course, I'm making picks all throughout the day, obviously right up to game time, things like that. So this is sort of a brief window. The other thing I want to let you know too is if you join the channel, make sure you can get some information out of it that helps you increase your ROI. But if you want to have one-on-one in-depth consulting, I have consulting packages at the website boyddavis.com. Happy to set up a one-on-one phone call with you to talk to you about the OddsJam tools, the betting exchanges, whatever you need. Certainly your betting plan, your profit plan to help you get going. So all that's incorporated here, and let's go ahead and kick it off with some picks and some education. All right, guys. First pick of the day here, we got Arkansas State, James Madison. Here's what I like, and as I scroll down here, what I have found is I like this Arkansas State plus 5.5. You can get it at 365 at minus 105. That's the best price in the market. We're going to see here in a minute sort of the charts action is the main reason I like this. Now, another reason I did a little bit of background. Arkansas State, I think, is 9-1 ATS in the last 10 games. James Madison is 4-6 ATS, but James Madison's 10-0. They're hot. Both teams are really, really playing well. I like getting this many points. Even though I don't like the fact that, at some point that's got to pop and that regression's got to happen with ATS on Arkansas State. But you'll see here some of the charts we're going to pull up. You can see a movement from the minus 106 down a little bit to the 108, but this thing has kind of changed. That creepy little weird number of 5, 5.5, 6 is where they're at in this range. I have a feeling that a lot of the public, a lot of the folks are going to be jumping on James Madison with the 4.5 and 5, so I'll take that 5.5. At minus 105. If you can't get that, minus 110, certainly okay. FanDuel, let's take a look at the other chart as well in this. All right, here you can see this Arkansas State, James Madison. You have Novig, a betting exchange here in Colorado is at 4.5. Very, very juicy at minus 129. To me, that's something I want to go against. I want to go oppo of. I'd rather go pick on, someone that at minus 5 or plus 5.5, I guess what I'm saying. So you can actually pull this up as well with a money line, which I noticed the money lines go in the other direction. So the teaching point of this is, let's say, for example, you go to the Pinnacle and you open this chart up, and you kind of check the direction and the mapping of how it's gone. When you open it up, it's very slow. All right, and as we're doing this, you saw the Novig change their line from 4.5 to the 5.5, but you got the juice went down. DraftKings went from 110 down to 108, so they're getting a little bit of a movement going the other direction. That's why I say it's imperative to get this 5.5 the best you can at the best price. And again, right now that's at that 365. Another interesting thing is if you compare it with the money line movement, the money line movement is coinciding with the line movement. So that would make sense, right? If you didn't have the money line movement going the other direction in price, then that would kind of be a clue. So what I'm saying is the money line price is also going down a tiny bit here, so plus 207 down 12 cents to plus 195. So bookmaker, a very sharp, college basketball book is taking their price down. They want to pay less because this Arkansas State team I anticipate doing pretty well. So the point is they don't want to pay the plus 207. They're going to take that down to plus 195 or probably even go even lower by the course of the end of the day. And so this is kind of all little clues and tips and keys of why we go this direction. Now, again, it may not hit, may not win, but I like the chances of taking that plus 5.5 with Arkansas State college hoops. All right, next up, we got a player prop bet with the Raptors Nuggets in the player points market. What I like about this is I'm taking Aaron Gordon over 13.5 points at minus 110, best price in the market. The average price here at this level is minus 123. You can see my good friends at BetOnline are actually up at 14.5 with a trajectory of going the other way, going, for the positive for us here, minus 108, and they've got a sharp drop down to 114. So that's only 6 cents, but in a in a prop market, it's a decent little move. You can see comparatively with DraftKings, they're at minus 130, FanDuel minus 128. I feel like against a weak defense, in some of these player prop bets, you can do a little bit more subjective analysis relative to kind of what's going on. And I like to take obscure players that aren't maybe mainline players, your stars, where I think more public hits those a little bit, and you can kind of use a strategy with the star players. This is a sort of a mid-level player that I think you can get some good true data from. So from a player prop perspective, for all those reasons, is why I'm looking at Aaron Gordon playing over 13.5 GM for probably a Snickers. All right, next up we have Suns Cavs. Cavs played last night. They gave up 120 to Brooklyn. Now we got player assist market. We're looking at Devin Booker here. Devin's well rested coming in here, and I like the over 5.5. This plus 112 at Bet Rivers. They're kind of a sucker book, so I'm limited at Rivers. That's the frustrating part, but that's where I would go to take that one, because these guys have also went from even money at plus 100 to minus 104. Got it in at plus 100, so even money, but then the line movement tells me that I think I'm onto something here. Not really much to see in the charts, just kind of a static move, but I like the fact that getting Booker well rested against Cleveland, who played last night, gave up a ton of points. It's probably going to try to do a little more on the defensive side, but I still like this number, like this line relative to all those conditions and all those things. I don't have Bet Online here to see what they're doing. I also see that it's not favorable, but you've got this minus 126. You say, oh shit, Pinnacle's going that direction, but look what they did. They went from minus 136, dropped like a fucking rock down to minus 126. So it tells me it's going that direction. It's going that way. That's why I feel this is a play that's worth, again, sort of a candy bar on this at FanDuel for minus 104. Certainly go get it at Rivers. Some of those can be books at plus 112. That's the pick. All right, next up we have Hornets, Pistons, PRA, points, rebounds, assists market. And what I like about this is I've got a Pistons player that's been doing really, really well. Another one of those not really hidden players, but not really the star everyone really thinks of. And you're probably, a lot of people don't know who the hell he is anyway. But you got Hornets, Pistons going down to Jalen here. We're going to scroll down PRA, points, rebounds, assists, and pull up Mr. Jalen. Here's what we like. Okay, like the over, and a couple of ways to look at this. You got Bet Online, really good player prop evaluator. You got this line dropping, and really, really dropping good for them. They were at minus 114. They're all the way down to minus 136. That's an indicator. That's an indicator that the money and some of the smart cats that don't get limited as much at Bet Online are going that direction. We like that. You can see here at minus 105 at our friends at DraftKings. You can also get this minus 110 at BetMGM and minus 108 at FanDuel. So we like that over for that particular reason. We scroll over here too. You can see a little bit of a contradiction from Pinnacle, but again, I'm a player prop bet. I'm going to go a little bit more weighted on Bet Online. So, that's something to consider. So you may want to lighten up a little bit. But I do believe just because of this indicator here with this price point and getting a really good price below the market average at minus 105, minus 108 is very, very doable. So I like that. I also like the fact that he's going up against a really crappy Hornets team. So if this was a team that was more defensive minded and more of a shutdown team, I would probably back away from this. But because it's the Hornets and because of these other components, that's the reason I like this play, again, for a quick little candy bar bet. Okay, so next up, what I did is I went away from the positive EV page, went over to the low hold page, and here's how I surf and use the low hold page in order to find what I feel is good value. This particular scenario, you got the Pistons minus 1.5 at minus 150 BetMGM. If you compare that with the price here at Pinnacle, minus 172, gosh, that's a lot. You got No Big, which is a betting exchange. They have a lot of smart money going there. They're at minus 183. That's an indicator, right? That's sort of a tell. And if you show even FanDuel minus 174. But if you pull up this Pinnacle line, you can see it really is going that direction. So they were up at the 152. They've dropped 20 cents down this direction. So, this is an alt market bet. I think the regular main line is around 3.5. So what this is telling me is you could go and pick this line off, even though you're paying more juice. The 150 seems to be a very solid bet. So what you can also do is take a look at the other page on the alt markets. Let me pull it up. Okay, so here we are at that bet. You can see this money line bet. It was minus 170. My opinion, you go ahead and to do the -1.5, -150 because you're getting 20 cents better in price, even though it's still juicy at -150 on the money line. But in this case, you could still go to -129, -3.5 at no vig, again, a betting exchange here in Colorado. If you're in Colorado and don't have that, message me so you can get hooked up. Got a promo code for you, etc. But you can actually open up this alt line and even go higher. This is sort of like options trading. If you wanted to go higher and say you think the Pistons are going to win by 5 or 6, you can go get a plus money price on that. I'll show you what the pricing is. Okay, so again, you have an indicator. You feel like the Pistons are going to win the game. You could get -150 at -1.5, but let's say you feel like they're not going to just cover this 3.5 and pay 120. You could go out of the market. You could go to a different zone and get a better priced value if you think they're going to win by, say, 6 points or more. Let's go check that out. So let's scroll. And this is, again, sort of like your call, your decision, but you can go get some plus money on some of these things. You can see that at the +121 is the best price. Could pick that up at Rivers at +120. So this is how you can sort of increase your profits if you think it's going to be kind of a blowout. You could get +150 again at MGM if you feel like they're just going to blow the doors off. So you can do all this analysis, and maybe you add more subjective analysis into this as you see schedules, you see other things versus just quick top-down value betting. If you're doing more deep analysis and subjective things, this is where you use these price charts, and this is really where you get into analyzing and going and finding other value in the market using the OddsJam tool. So again, if you don't have the tool, it's kind of hard to do this and have all this data in real time in front of you. So this is why, again, there's not, when people have one line, one bet, it's kind of like, well, that's crazy because there's lots of them. There's lots of choices, lots of ways you can cut this up and take it into your portfolio. So using these charts, using this data for direction gives you an idea of how you want to structure and set your investment. All right, guys, there you go. There's a handful of picks, handful of selections, and hopefully a lot of good information for you to adapt and to use. And using the tools at OddsJam, again, get signed up if you're a new user, take advantage of those discounts. So I also want to remind you, wide open and welcome to a one-on-one conference call, a phone call, just to talk to you about your scenario, your situations. I talk to guys across the country, from Washington to Florida, everywhere out there, so we can kind of understand, what sports books you have, what you've done, where you want to go, what your goals are. So please take advantage of that. Happy to do it. Set up a free call just to chat with you about your situation, try to help you expedite your education. So leave me a note down below, and we'll get you a time to set up and get you going so you can start making money. Getting into college hoops time with tournament time, so what a better time to do it than right into MLB, which is sort of my specialty. Love MLB throughout the summer and then ramp it up into football. So it's always something going on. All right, guys, appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you like and share the channel. Again, if you have any other questions or feedback, leave them down below. Any other topics you want me to cover or questions, leave that down below. And as always, let's go make some mathematical money.